ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शान्ति पाठ। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यात् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have begun the study of Kena Upanishad, which is a short Upanishad belonging to the Samaveda. Now, the word Upanishad we saw in the last session means self-knowledge or Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya, which is gained by approaching the Guru, and the Guru unfolds the Shastra like a mirror, by which all the doubts are dispelled and which puts an end to the sense of notional limitations. All this is there in the word Upanishad, well ascertained knowledge. Nishchaya Jnanam. Now, all the Upanishads, have many things in common. They all are about the same topic, Brahma Vidya. The Jagat Karanam Brahma. They are in the same language, Sanskritam, and they all have these Guru Shishya Samvadas, most of them. Now, the Guru Shishya Samvada shows us how important it is to be connected to a Guru Parampara to receive this knowledge. Yeah? Guru Parampara is where Guru is Param and Shishya is Avaram. Param means Shreshtaha, the former, and Shishya is Avaram means the later one, the one who is receiving. So, Shankaracharya keeps saying, no amount of arguing or self-study or tapas, austerities or karmas can give us this knowledge. One has to approach a Guru and seek this knowledge. Why? Because the Guru is like the Ganga Ghat. We all know that from Gomukh, the Ganga flows through various cities and then merges in the Sagaram ocean. Yeah? But along the, the path, the route, there are many ghats. They are made very convenient for snanam. So too, the Guru is also just one link where it is convenient for us to dip in this Jnana Ganga. Jnana Ganga, and the actual knowledge is that Jnana Pravaha flowing from Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. So this is the Guru Shishya Samvada, which is imperative to clear the doubts. Elsewhere we saw that example of the Arani wood pieces. Remember how the Guru and Shishya are like the two wood pieces which are rubbed together in a Vedic ritual to generate the fire, to kindle the Homakunda. So through the Samvada, the Guru-Shishya Samvada, this fire of knowledge is generated and Jnana Agni burns away the confusion. And that is why also the Sampradaya is so important. The word Sampradaya is very beautiful. Samyak Prakarshena Diyate iti Sampradaya. The knowledge which is very well handed down the generations through these links, the Guru Shishya link, and that is why Bharat is so, famous today, because it has this unique teaching tradition. Yeah, from Guru to the Shishya, and then it percolates down the generations even today. So, in the Samaveda Upanishad, that is Kena Upanishad, also we have a Samvada, Guru Shishya Samvada, but the names are not mentioned. The Gurus and the Shishya's name. And here, this Upanishad opens on a note of wonder. So, in the very first mantra, the Shishya is inquiring about the principle, the all-inclusive, intelligent, conscious, sentient, invisible principle that governs this multiverse. So let us look at that shloka again and chant it. Om Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha Kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha Kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti Chakshushrotram ka udevo yunakti Chakshushrotram ka udevo yunakti Kena Ishitam. Now this is how the Upanishad derives its name, because of the first word of the first mantra. Kena. So by whom? So the Shishya is asking this very intelligent question, that willed by whom, directed by whom, ordained by whom, which intelligent principle does the mind patati, falls. Falls means proceed towards the objects. Well directed, preshitam. We know that how the mind is like a supercomputer, the CPU, and it is called antakaranam with the fourfold functions. There is a function of recall function from the Chittam database, and then there is the perceiver. When I perceive a flower, that is the mind. Then when the mind retrieves more information from the Chittam, that yes, I recognize, I have had the experience of a flower before, that is Chittam. Then the Buddhi says, this is a rose, it's a real rose, fragrant. And Ahankara says, yes, I know this is the rose. I enjoy the beauty of the rose. Katta, Bhokta, Ahankara, all these functions, fourfold functions are happening in an instant. How does this conscious perception happen? Is the question of the Shishya. Then, Kena pranaha prathama praiti yuktaha. Let us take the prana. Prana is the fuel for the whole body and mind. It is the Kriya Shakti. It is a driving force. Then, impelled by whom? Directed by whom? Does the prana divide itself in a fivefold way, perform the physiological functions in the body, and nourishes all the other movements? Even to lift our hand or to do anything, we take it so much for granted, but there is so much behind even the simplest of act. And so the Shishya is not interested in the perception itself, but wants to know what is the principle behind the conscious cognitions that we are experiencing. Then Kena Ishitam Vacham Imam Vadanti. Now these words, right now, the sounds are being uttered, and then those sounds are heard by you. They flow into your mind. So by what power do people speak? And not only people, You see what a variety of sounds we have. We have the birds symphony in the morning, then the frogs are croaking at night, then the serpents are making the hissing sound. How variety of sounds are there? Then variety of perceptions also. The human range of hearing is limited, but dolphins, dogs, and bats hear much more. So the variety of wavelengths perceived or the frequency of sounds heard, who has programmed all this in the mind? Who is behind this show is the question. Then Chakshuhu Shrotram Kaha U Devaha Yunakti. Which effulgent divine principle is making sight happen for the eyes and making listening happen for the ears? Now you see, just a few examples are given in the first mantra, but we can extend it to all the organs. The 17 principles of the Sukshma Shariram are Panchapranas, Panchajnanendriyani, Panchakarmendriyani, and Manas and Buddhi. Then what about the body? The body is also governed by the same intelligent principle. How does the brain send signals along the nerve passages? How is the body temperature maintained? And how are the toxic wastes like sweat eliminated from the body? So the Shishya is curious to know what is the intelligent principle behind all this. So his question is, who is the programmer, the divine programmer? We know that no software installed in any hardware can function without an intelligent programmer, without the power. So here also, if the mind, Sukshma Shariram is the software and the Sura Shariram is the hardware, how do they function? What is it that governs the body, mind, sense complex? No? And elsewhere, poets, even in Ramayana, they say, who is the divine painter who has painted this Jagat canvas? Or this mathematician, accountant, engineer who has designed the whole universe so intelligently, perfectly ordered. So whether we take a sample, like one body, our own human body, or at the macro level, the worlds are manifest, sustained, and resolved back in such a perfect manner. Who is keeping track of this tiny details, karmic details, the laws and the functions? So all these questions are implied in the very first mantra, and the Shishya is asking the Guru, is there a Satya Vastu? Is there an Adhara, Adhisthana for this world that is visible to us? Nama Rupa Kriyatmakam Jagat, no? Which is so beautifully and intelligently assembled. Now we have to appreciate, this question by the student. You see, the student is so intelligent, he's not interested in the world. He wants to know who is behind the world. What makes the perception happen? Who has assembled everything together? Definitely he must have studied Tattva Bodha for sure. And now he wants to inquire into that conscious principle. So now the Guru must be very happy to be asked such an intelligent question. So he is going to answer and say, yes, my dear, there is a intelligent principle. There is an Agnya. There is an order of Ishvara that governs the entire universe, either on the macro scale or the micro scale. Now Upanishads, Taittiriya describes that. Ishasmat pavate vayuhum mrityudhavati panchama agnischandrascha bhayatapati suryaha. So, out of fear of that command and the order, the sun and moon rise and set. The orbital velocities are maintained. And Mrityu, Yamadharmaraja, is doing his rounds. And he is literally dhavati. He is running around, performing his function. So, everything is ordered because of that command and that, Agnya. By whose Agnya? We have all these laws in place, gravity, electromagnetic radiation, everything. Now the Guru is going to answer this question, and the question in an indirect way, not in a straight way and say, yes, there is some person, some being. Why? because that is not a person, that is a principle, it is the order. So now let us go to the second mantra, which in fact the whole Upanishad is in response to this one question, starting from the second mantra. Let us look at this mantra now. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yat. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yat. Vacho havacham sa upranasya pranaha. Vacho havacham sa upranasya pranaha. चक्षुषश्चक्षुरतिमुच्य धीराः चक्षुषश्चक्षुरतिमुच्य धीराः प्रीत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति प्रीत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यत् वाचो हवाचं स उप्राणस्य प्राणः चक्षुषश्चक्षुरतिमुच्य धीराः प्रीत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति. So what is the Guru's response here? In a very unique, interesting way, the Guru answers the question and says, my dear, that which you are asking about, the intelligent, invisible, conscious, sentient principle governing the multiverse is what? Shrotrasya shrotram, ear of the ear. Manasaha manaha yat, that is the mind of the mind. Vachaha ha vacham, indeed, that is the speech of the speech. And saha, he is also pranasya pranaha, is the prana behind the prana. And what else? Chakshushaha chakshuhu, the eye behind the eye. And that is the definition, ends there, and we can extend it to any organ. It is the heart behind the heart, it is the tongue behind the tongue, and so on. Then atimuchya dhiraha. Atimuchya means the dhira. Who are the dhiras? Vivekis. Vivekis are the mumukshus who have this clear atma anatma viveka. Atimuchya, having renounced, given up. Then pretya asmat loka. And pretya is again similar meaning, withdrawn from this world. We will come to two meanings there. Withdrawn or having given up or woken up from this worldly existence. What happens to them? Amritaha bhavanti. They become immortal. So, you see what Guru says, that there is that independently existing sentient principle of pure consciousness which pervades the bodies at the micro level and at the macro level. So that pervades the ear, that pervades the eye, that pervades the mind and speech organs, the skin, everything. That is all pervading. And we know by now that how the mind borrows that sentience. There is a chidabhasaha. And then the mind enlivens or blesses the sense organs in the body. And then we find the whole world is revealed in such a mind. So this is how the Guru talks about that, how it is the same empowering, enlivening principle of Atma Brahma that empowers. Just as the familiar example, electricity animates all the devices and the gadgets. Can we see electricity? No. We infer electricity must be there. There is no power shortage because the bulb is glowing. Yeah, the motor is running. So wherever we see activity, where we see a sentient person, there must be this principle empowering that. And so then Atimuchya Dhiraha. So the Dhiras, remember the word Dhira came in Kathopanishad also. Kaschid Dhiraha Amritatvamicham Avritta Chakshu Bhavati. So where Yamadharmaraja tells Nachiketa that it is true, my dear Nachiketa, that senses and the mind are turned outward, external. The moment there is a sound, our mind will turn in that direction. So our tendency of the mind and senses are extroverted, always looking outwards. But kaschid dhiraha amritatvam ichan. But there is a rare mumukshu who turns the mind inwards and who is in search of that intelligent principle. Now, to Nachiketa, he says. So, kaschid dhira. And the same meaning is to be understood here. That dhiraha who has turned his mind away from the world of Namarupa is what Asmat Lokat Pretya has withdrawn from the worldly pursuits, from the attractions of these appearances, Namarupa, and Ati Muchya. They have renounced. How have they renounced? All that is not mentioned here. See, Upanishad will come straight to the point. And so here we understand by inquiry. Neti Neti, Panchakosha Viveka, all this will fall into place here. Renunciation means Jnanena, Tyagena. The Dhiras, the Dhira Purushas, they have turned the mind away from the Mithya Jagat Namarupa and into the Atma Brahma. Atma samstam manakritva nakinchidapi chintayet. Gita also says that in chapter 6, that by abhyasa and vairagya may one turn the mind within, turn inwards to dwell on this Atma Tattvam. So here Shankaracharya also explains, that how in the world, we see different kind of assemblies. Don't we see, construction of factories and homes or even cars? They're all assemblage. There are assembly units, but they are meant for somebody else, for the Jivatma, for the Grihastha. So too, this body-mind-sense complex, which is intelligently put together, it cannot perform the functions itself. So there needs to be an intelligent, conscious principle governing it, inhabiting it, and that is Atma Brahma. That is the Atma Jyoti, which empowers the instruments. Even right now, if somebody asks us, where is your Atma? Come on, show me. Then we can, a mature student of Vedanta will say the very fact that I am speaking, I'm able to speak, shows that Atma Jyoti is there, has empowered my speech, has empowered my functions of the mind, and empowered all these organs and the skin, everything, the speech and so on. So this Dhira Purushaha is the Viveki, and this Viveki has known what? Yes, there is this intelligent principle, Atma Brahma. And what does this Viveki do? He does not place ahankara, I notion in the body, mind anymore. Whereas the Ajnani, what will the Ajnani think? Oh, I open my eyes and sight happens. No? There's nothing more to inquire. So he thinks that the mind itself thinks, the eyes themselves see, the ears hear, and that is how the body-mind is made to function that way. But the Jnani has inquired further, and through Viveka understood that there must be an empowering, blessing principle. And we saw the two examples. Shastra gives the example of a magnet. Magnet exerts a magnetic field, and then all the iron filings are drawn. So too, wherever there is a subtle body which is inert, that will reflect and manifest the Atma Chaitanyam. And then it becomes a live, conscious, sentient mind, and it is empowered. Or like a Raja, a king or a prime minister of any country is a symbol of authority, and in whose presence the whole administration happens. So now this student, intelligent student, has figured out that there is that independent principle, Atma Jyoti, and so he gives up that ahankara notion that I am this body, I am this mind. I have no control over the body, it does not belong to me, and all the functions are blessed by this independent principle. So the student has realized what the world is perfect, and this body mind sense is also perfectly put together for for the jivatma. Only the mind has problems. Yeah. So now he is inquiring into that principle. So atimuchya dhiraha. So this Vireki have renounced atimuchya. Then asmat lokat pretya. It means pretya means departure, really. So the literal meaning is departed when the prarabdha is over. Yeah. One meaning we can take that when the jnanis pretya depart, then there is no return to samsara for them. They become amritaha. They were amritaha even while being embodied, and they, they just merge with Ishvara, and even after the fall of the body. But the first meaning pretya is, withdrawn. Withdrawing the mind from this samsara vriksha. We saw earlier how this ahankara, I notion, once it is placed in the body, what will happen? This is me, this is mine, and this is for me. So the whole samsara vriksha, the world, we can say, stems from that one ahankara notion. But the dhiras, they do not place the ahankara in the bodies. Rather, as the shishya is doing, they will use the ahankara to inquire into aham, that intelligent principle. Kaschit dhira. And so that is the how this answer begins. So the Guru is saying that through the Upadesha, this Shishya has, woken up or is in the process of waking up through Abhyasa and Vairagyam, through the method of inquiry. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yat vacho havacham sa upranasya pranaha चक्षुषश्चक्षुरतिमुच्य धीराः प्रीत्यास्मा लोकात् अमृता bhavanti. Now let's go to the third mantra. न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाग्गच्छति नो मनः न वाग्गच्छति नो मनः न विद्मः न विजानीमः न विद्मः न विजानीमः यथैतदनुशिष्यात् यथैतदनुशिष्यात् न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाग्गच्छति नो मनः न विद्मो न विजानीमः यथैतदनुशिष्यात्. So continuing the response, the Guru says, na tatra chakshuhu gacchati, na vak gacchati, na u manaha. Now simple Sanskrit here. So there the eye does not go there. What does that mean? Tatra means to that Brahma, to that invisible principle, all pervading. The eyes have no access. Na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. Then what about speech? Are we not talking about Brahma Tattvam? But here Upanishad says, na vak api gacchati. No, speech also has no access to the Brahma. Then what about mind? At least the mind can think about Brahma? No, na u manaha. So the first line is what? Telling us that the Brahma Atma is not available as an object which one can perceive with the eyes and which one can talk about with the speech or which one can conceptualize with the mind. You see, why cannot the eyes see Brahma? Because Brahma Atma has no akara, no form. Now, what do our eyes pick up? The eyes are meant to pick up forms and colors. For example, how will I describe a laddu? Not Tirupati laddu, but let's take a dry fruit laddu. Yeah, I will say, Vani Devi also knows laddu, but let's say somebody, from outside Bharat does not know what a laddu is. Then I have to say, oh, it's a little crunchy, sweet. It is round and maybe yellow, sometimes dark in color, and it's loaded with calories. So one will get some idea about laddu. So wherever there is a form, then the eyes can describe that. But Nirakara Brahma, how can this eye of I be described by the eyes? In fact, the eyes are perceiving by the grace of Atma. So how can the eyes objectify Atma? Cannot. So that's the first quarter. Na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. Then what about speech? Na vak gacchati. Now, vak means speech. Now, can the speech describe Brahma? The answer is no. We will see why. Now, when I want to describe anything in the world, a worldly object, how will speech describe that object? So, there are these fourfold criteria. Jati, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha. Jati, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha. If I have to describe a person, I will describe his jati. He comes from this Brahmin family, let's say, or Vaishya merchant family. Then Guna, I will describe him or her. Very sweet nature, never gets angry. Then Kriya, oh, he is my, who drives for me, and who performs various errands. That's Kriya. Then Sambandha is the relationship. Maybe he's a distant cousin. So anything in the world can be described by one or more of these criteria. Jati, Guna, Karma, Sambandha. Now, this is how we use speech. But can this Vak Indriyam describe Brahma? Again, it is by the grace of Brahma that we are able to speak. But how can speech objectify Brahma and say, because Brahma Atma has no jati, no gotram, no attributes, guna, it is kriya, it is akriyaha, actionless, and it has no sambandha. No sambandha, why? Because it takes two to have a sambandha, right? I am the parent of this child, or the spouse. This is my spouse, but Atma Brahma, it is advayam. So sambandha will not work there. So then speech cannot also describe Brahma. Now, you may all be wondering, as the student in the Upanishad also, then what are we talking about? Swamini Amma, isn't she talking about Brahma, Atma? So how can you say Vak na gacchati? So the point here to be noted is that all the sense organs, including the mind, can only describe objects of knowledge in the form of vrittis in the mind. We saw that just yesterday, A flower vritti is happening in the mind. A cup is a thought in the mind. But Atma cannot be reduced to a thought. Atma is not an object. So what we are talking about, where speech really helps us with right now, Atma can only be spoken of in a negative way. In a negative, indirect way. Neti, neti. Atma is ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, arasam, agandham. So we have not described Atma Brahma positively by jati, guna, karma, sambandha, but negatively. It is not this, it is not the bodies, it is, not the sound, it is not a thought, it is not a location. So only by negation, indirectly, can we describe Atma Brahma by Vak. That is the meaning here. Na vak gacchati. Then, what about mind? Mind, can we think about Brahma? Same reason. The mind can only perceive the world through vrittis. Yeah? But Atma is that which blesses the mind, lights up the mind and making it sentient. So the mind cannot conceptualize Atma. So again, the mind has to, employ all these prakriyas, Panchakosha Viveka Prakriya, Neti Neti, Avastadre Sakshi Prakriya, or as Dakshinamurti Sotram we saw, Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvai Yavanam. How does Dakshinamurti, impart the Brahma Vidya to the Sanakadi Muni Rishi sitting at his feet? Mauna Vyakya. So that when the mind is purified and becomes silent in Nididhyasanam, then and then alone can one grasp this Atma Brahma. So otherwise, all the time, what are we doing? We are speaking of something known. The mind is thinking of some vritti that is known or unknown. Eyes are picking up objects of the world. But here we're talking about the intelligent, conscious, invisible principle. How to know that? That we're going to come to that. So next line, what does this guru say, whose name is also not mentioned? Na vidmaha, we do not know. Then na vijani maha, again we do not know. So what the guru means here is that we do not know means all the pancha pramanas. Pancha pramanas, pratyaksha, anumanam, upamana, arthapati, all these pramanas, they cannot help us in describing Brahma. So the only pramana is the Shabda pramana that we are employing right now, the Upanishad mantras. No? And so here when the Guru says na vidmaha, which means that the Vastu, Satya Vastu is not an object for the eyes and ears to pick up a cognition, like a flower, a table, or a chair. No, it is the consciousness by which the eyes see, ears hear, the mind, patati, functions. So, na vidmaha, we don't know this as an object. Then, na vijanimaha, again we do not know. And the last word, yatha etat anushishyat. How this Ati Sukshma topic, Atma Brahma, is to be explained. Yatha etat anushishyat na vijanimaha. We do not know. How we teachers will be able to communicate such a subtle tattva. Yeah? Now, does that mean the Guru is, giving up, is helpless, resigned? No. What this means is the Guru says that we can only, explain this Atma Tattvam like this. Shrotrasya Shrotram, Chakshushaha Chakshuhu, Pranasya Pranaha, indirectly. And we can lead the mind of the Shishyas from the gross understanding to the subtler and the subtlemost Atma Tattvam by this paradoxical language. Did we not see that in Katha Upanishad? Atma is near and far at the same time. It is subtle and it is huge at the same time. Yama tells Nachiketa, which means Atma is all pervading. Atma is within and without. Atma is indivisible. So, by the Pancha Pramanas, we cannot grasp this Atma Tattvam. And so, to highlight this Sukshma nature of Atma, the Guru says, Na vidmaha. Notice the plural, we do not know. Although there is only one Guru for this Kena Upanishad, but the Guru identifies with the entire parampara. It is not a personal knowledge that one is giving. Yeah. So in the Guru Shishya Samvada, the Gurus will always, refer to this knowledge as coming down paramparyena from Sadashiva himself. So na vijanimaha. We do not, we do not know how else to explain this Ati Sukshma topic. So the Guru says here that we are connecting to all the ancestors and the tradition of teaching. And that is how we are going to communicate to you. So what is the hidden message here is that, the Shishya The Shishya has to have what? Some degree of adhikaritvam is necessary, but also the most important factor, Shraddha, should be a Shraddhavan. Now, this Atma Tattvam is not like physics or chemistry or mathematics, where you proceed with the principle and then we deduce all the formula. So, this is like lighting a lamp of knowledge in the Shishya's mind. And that is why, when students listen to social media talks, motivational speech, Google, YouTube, all that is just data accumulation, information gathering. So that kind of knowledge will not bless. So Shankaracharya repeatedly says one has to do systematic, consistent Shravanam and Mananam with a live Sampradaya with Guru. The one who belongs to a Sampradaya, because Samyak Prakarshena Diyate, that knowledge which is handed down, one will receive it from this current link or the Guru. And so here, this Guru is saying exactly that, that one needs to have patience. So when the Shishya connects with the Guru Parampara, then one has to patiently, consistently, listen. If there's something that is not understood, then we have to put it in the pending box of the mind, and then continue. Ask questions, So healthy dialogues were all found in the Upanishads. How the wife of Yajnavalkya, she questions him and she says, you are leaving our home, and married life for that Amritatvam, and you're leaving behind all the wealth. Will I get Amritatvam by all this wealth? And he says, no. So through this question and answer, there is a bonding with the teacher, and then with the Shraddha and lot of patience, and then one's Mananam alone can this be known. So the Guru is just saying here that it is Ati Sukshmam, and we do not know how else to communicate this Tattvam to you, which is not available for the sense organs, not even for the mind. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na upmanaha, na vidmaha, na vijanimaha, yatha etat anushishyat. Then let's see one more mantra today, the fourth. This is going to be an easy mantra because it is going to echo the shlokas of Upadesha Saram. Anyadeva tat viditat atho aviditat adhi. Anyadeva tat viditat atho aviditat adhi. Iti shushruma purvesham. Iti shushruma purvesham. येनस्तत् व्याचचक्षिरे येनस्तत् व्याचचक्षिरे अन्यदेव तद्विदितात् तथो अविदितात् अधि इति शुश्रुमपूर्वेषां येनस्तत् व्याचचक्षिरे. So, this Vedic Sanskritam is pre-Panini Sanskritam, right? So, and sometimes a little bit challenging to understand. So here, what does the Guru say? Anyat eva tat viditat. Atha aviditat adhi. So, explains that Brahma is anyat, different and distinct from vidita, from the known. From all that is known, it is anyat. Anyadeva tat vidita. Then, atha, what else? Aviditat adhi. It is other than what is not known. So, just what we saw in Upadesha Saram, that is, Brahma Atma is neither known nor unknown. It is other than the known and the unknown. Iti shushruma. Iti shushruma means This is what we heard. This is what we heard from whom? Purvesham, from all our elders and the ancient teachers, from this entire, parampara, sampradaya. Then ye naha, and what did they do? Ye naha, for us, that vyacha chakshire. Vyacha chakshire means explained, taught. So you see how this guru is, telling that he was also once upon a time a student. And he has gained this knowledge from the Sampradaya. Having been a student, gone through the discipline of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam, and then as a guru, he is now giving the same Upadesha to his or her students. So here, the first line now is very familiar to all Upadeshasaram students. Anyadeva tat viditat, atha aviditat adhi. So that Brahma Atma is different, distinct, other than what is known or an object of knowledge, and it is beyond unknown also. It is not unknown, in other words. And we have received this knowledge, this Brahma Vidya, from our elders, our Purvikams, Purvesham, and who have explained this to us. Yeah. So now, we have seen this topic before. That is, how is Brahma, not other than the known? So again, back to any object, the rose knowledge is what? A vritti in the mind. It is known in the mind. But can Atma be known as a vritti, as a thought in the mind? No. Rather, Atma is that principle by which I am thinking. The Atma has lit up our minds, and we are all understanding the mantras of Kena Upanishad by the grace of that Atma. So how can that Atma be a vritti in the mind? It is an all-pervading, conscious, sentient principle. Now, we take the rose again. Why is this rose red? I don't know. Then you take another flower. Why is this yellow? I don't know. We will see. That's how it is. Ishvara has made this red rose and the yellow chrysanthemum. And that's how it is. Then the body, how does the liver in my body detoxify? I don't know. I have to ask, the doctors how it happens. Yeah. Then if I refer to some person, our brother or our husbands or wife, why are they like this? Sometimes very compassionate and sometimes, very agitated. I don't know. So there are so many things that we do not know. We can know an effect, a karyam, yeah, but we don't know its karanam. Then what is my karmic account? I do not know. My past janmas, I do not know. Why am I also suddenly I'm peaceful and calm, but suddenly I'm very agitated and disturbed? I do not know. Because the subconscious I do not know. So here the Guru says that the whole world, there are known objects and the vaster realm of unknown. That is called Viditat and Aviditat. But what is Atma Brahma? Guru says Anyat. Anyateva Viditat Atha Aviditat Ati. It is beyond the known and the unknown. And what does that mean? It is that by which I know I'm able to perceive this rose, I'm able to smell it, and I'm able to have this rose cognition in the mind because of that. So Atma is never an objective knowledge. Self-knowledge is not, geology or astronomy. It is that by which one gains any kind of knowledge. Then Atma is not unknown also. Because why? Because it is oneself. Yeah, it is the experiencer. Drigeva natu drishyam. It is oneself. And so earlier on we had that mantra where it said Dhiraha Amritatvam Ichchan is able to perceive. The one who is an Avritta Chakshu. Remember that word from Katha Upanishad? Avritta Chakshu means the Chakshu which is turned within, reversed in meditation. The one who with the calm and purified mind sits in Nididhyasanam will be able to understand the Atma Tattva as oneself, as the Avasthatraya Sakshi. And that is why Atma is evident to all of us. It is right here and now, 24/7, blessing all the organs. Now you may say sometimes, my ear does not hear properly, or, there is knee pain, then they're not functioning properly, right? But the same Atma blesses does not mean everything will function perfectly and normally. When the Atma decides it's time to withdraw the sentience from a mind which causes dementia perhaps, or from a knee, or life itself, that is the order talked about here. The order and the command of Ishvara which governs the whole universe. So there are the three avasthas, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and then also a thing is manifest, and then after a few hours or after a few years, then it is withdrawn to the unmanifest, only to manifest again back in the world. So, and this knowledge, this Guru is so humbly acknowledging and says, this is not from me. Iti Shushruma. We have heard this, we have received this knowledge, Purvesham, from the ancestors, from the Guru Parampara, and who have Vyacha Chakshire, who have explained it to us. And so, that is the glory of the Sampradaya. So, anybody who connects, like if we connect a plug, to a socket, then the electricity is going to flow through that medium. No? The same thing, if the Shishyas connect to a Sampradaya, a Guru Parampara, then we connect to the whole lineage of the Rishi Munis, all the way up to the source, that is Adi Shiva. And here the Guru says there is no other way to explain this, Ati Sukshma topic other than by neti, by negation and turning the mind inwards, and in this indirect way. Yeah? Not this, not this. Atma is not this, not this. And even we saw yesterday, it is not limited. It is Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Agandham. Then Gita, we saw all this. It is Ajaha, Amrityu, Avyayaha. All the time negation only. So, it is not this, not this. This is the only way we can explain this Atma Brahma. And so a skeptic, or a, agnostic will say, where is your Ishvara? If you can't comprehend with your sense organs and mind, means it does not exist. So there is a story about Newton, This Newton had a friend and who was a non-believer. No, he did not be atheist. So one day he invited his friend to his laboratory and showed a beautiful device, some machine he had put together. And so the friend is amazed and full of appreciation. Who made this? Who's made this device? I am so impressed. Then Newton says, nobody, it just happened on its own. It just happened. How can that be so? How can this wonderful, machine just happen, manifest? Yeah. Do you see the point now? Now do you agree that for this vast multiverse machinery of the Jagat, there must be an intelligent creator? Yeah, do you agree? And that was to teach his agnostic, atheist friend the lesson that there must be a creator, by which this perfectly ordered multiverse, including our bodies and minds, are functioning and perform their functions. Okay? So we will just chant these shlokas once again and then conclude. Om Kene प्रेषितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः केन प्राणप्रथमप्रैति युक्तः केनेषितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं क उदेवो युनक्ति श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यत् वाचो हवाचं स प्राणस्य प्राणः चक्षुषश्चक्षुरतिमुच्य धीराः प्रीत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वा गच्छति नो मनः न विद्मः न विजानीमः यथैतदनुशिष्यात् अन्यदेव तद्विदितात् अथो अविदितात् अधि इति शुश्रुम पूर्वेषां येनस्तद् व्याचचक्षिरे ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ